Hello, welcome back. My name is Vasco the Gamer, and today it's going to be another vlog about the story of my life. And not in a very bad way, but just a chance for you guys to know me better. And last time I finished with the New Year's Eve failure. That was a good one. Okay, and that was the end of 2012. And so we begin again at the beginning of 2013, the year where a lot of things happened. I turned 18, I got my driver's license because in Norway you need to be 18 to be able to get your license. And that is, well, because we have a pretty strict thing here, but compared to, let's say, the US, where you have to be 16 to be able to get your permit and 21 to be able to drink, or be able to sell alcohol to, here you have to be 18 for both. So we think that once you are reached 18, which is our, well, special age where you're now you're basically grown up, you can do what you like most of the time. And so we begin in January of 2013. A lot of things happened that month. School started again, and I came to terms with, well, the massive failure that happened. Because I try to move forwards. Not always I can, but I'm always trying to do it. And so, when we start up again, I just think that, okay, let's not do anything big out of this. Of course, the Tourette has other plans, because what you see right now, and in my vlogs, and most of the time, that I didn't even realize is the fact that in early mornings, or when I just wake up, when some medications go off, that is painkillers and also allergy medicines, since I can't handle my allergy medicine very good. Anyway, before I get any stimulants from, let's say in my case, I use nicotine in some way or form, just because that I created that habit in 2013 when the Tourette spiraled out of control. And, well, my bad idea, which have worked somehow, is that I created a need for it, then I satisfied that need, and that kept me calmer in hindsight. This I realized rather quickly because, well, I started out about a month before I turned 18, because in this country you need to be 18 for both drinking and buying nicotine products. Weird laws, but then again, it's a country I live in, so. Anyway, I began pipe smoking first of all, and that was just because, well, I don't want to try a cigarette, I want to, well, be even weirder than what I even was back then. This was also the year when I started using suits on a regular basis. I didn't need them, really, but then again, that was just what I went for in style. And I have been for the last 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. Damn, been a long time. Anyway, that helped me at least. I know it's not medicine, but it's the closest I can get to medicine at that time at least. Also, it kept me calmer than I ordinarily was. And also I had an excuse for going out. Let's say at recess we had multiple of those every day, and then I could have a breather, basically. Or an inhaler. Anyway, when that didn't spiral out of control and I had some form or placebo control over it, I felt more confident, and when I turned 18 in April, that helped a lot, because then I had the opportunity to go out on the town on, well, weekends. Even though it was only 3 places you could go to. 2 nightclubs, no wait, it was 4 places. 2 nightclubs, you had one that was mostly for those who are senior year in high school. Because we have something that, well, it's basically a month of celebration when you're about to graduate. From the end of April, usually on my birthday, until the 6th or 17th of May, which is our Constitution Day. Those 3 weeks people tend to party a lot, and that is only those who are going to graduate. Yay, we're done with 10 years of school. Yeah, what are we going to do afterwards? University for 5 years. So why are you celebrating 10 years now? We don't know. Basically. And these people do all sort of shit, basically. And when I turned 18, I always enjoyed those who were one class over me and under me, my own class that I went to. I didn't like them, and I don't think they liked me that much, so mutual relationship. Anyway, so I began going out, and one football pub you could go to. It was called a football pub. It's still the local team that is supported there. If you go there in any other team, well prepared to be run over by an angry mob out of town. Or out of the county, same shit. And then you got the academic quarter, which I often visited. This place is mostly occupied by students, like, well, hello. And also it's closer to campus areas. I enjoyed it there because it was both a cafe and a pub downstairs you could go to. And the 2 nightclubs were interesting. I was at one of the places, and usually on Saturdays, Fridays and Saturdays, I went there. Didn't drink that much, but then again, I didn't feel the need for it, because I am usually, when I'm basically out, or back then at least, I was out and just trying to be social. And the weird thing about Norwegians is that everyone is a bit by themselves and use alcohol to be more social. For someone who don't have social skills and doesn't know how to go back, is my only modes at that point was I'm home as a hermit or I'm out. But I'm not going all the way like the rest of the people. Here's what I did when I didn't know any social behavior at all, because, well, you've been bullied, you didn't have many friends at school or up until that point, so how do you find out how to basically go out, and how are you when you're out in the town? Well, if you're me, you unlucky bastard, I'm sorry. You grab the closest notepad you have, take that in your coat, go with pen and paper, and basically be a reporter on town. I just observed how people was and wrote that down, just standing in the corner. Yep. Okay, he's getting close. They're not dancing. Okay, I'm not going to dance. Out with that. Okay. You there you are right now. Talking. What's he talking about? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I was that creep, but it was for science. That's what every single idiot says. Yeah, right. Okay. But that's basically what I did. I became good friends with the guys who worked there as well. Because, well, I was there mostly sober and didn't bother them that much. I just talked with them. Weird thing that when I talk to them, that is exactly how I should have behaved with other people. But there's something in my head that is a bit different. When you're talking to one of the staff members on if it's a nightclub or if it's a pub or anything else, anywhere else, one thing is the staff, because if you get a good relationship with them, if you get them to talk, that's way easier than those who are just there for the music, the dancing, or whatever else you want to do at the nightclub. Enjoy yourself. But for me, I enjoy mostly being in pubs, but then again, that wasn't an option back then. It's more of an option now that I'm well over 20. And so I spent my days just, okay, how do I do this? How do I begin to go over there and talk to someone? Well, fast forward 2 years and I still didn't have that guts to just go out and do it, because that may be not the wisest idea. Okay, I know. I didn't need to ask you. I wasn't going to go act on an impulse, you idiot. I often talk to myself, even if I'm not front of camera. And that's very interesting, especially with Tourette. So, for me, if I'm in a stressful environment or I'm emotional, what you see now is never happening. I'm always having a lot of takes, and I'll show you one day if I'm really stressed, because you'll easily spot every single take I got. Because I got basically auto function now that I'm tensing up every time I feel a spot of something that might be a tick. Just, no, you get the fuck back! I'm getting annoyed at myself and talking out loud. Because in my 23 years of, living, I still haven't learned how to think inside myself. I have never heard myself think at all. So every bit of my thought process is going through my mouth. Out to ear and then out again. So that's very interesting. At the same time, the only thing that whenever I need an answer to anything, that just act on basically what I know. Do I know it? Yes. Information there. That's how I work at the very least. I can never solve a problem by shutting up and trying to think it over and over and over. I have to talk myself out of the situation or into or through it. So let's say that you're out in the town and you're as social as a paranoid hermit at this point. That was basically me back then, just standing in a corner. Okay, he seems cool. Oh, fuck, I said that out loud. Whoops, sorry. Oh, hello there. And that's how you meet people. Either that or outside and taking 5 minutes. That also works, by the way. That's what those who I know the best have, gotten along. Take 5. Okay, I'll have some air. Some good air. No, don't do drugs. Or do I don't bloody care. You know, it's a Tuesday. No, Wednesday. Fuck. I can't even keep track of days now. Anyway. So, that was when I first went out on the town. I went out every bloody weekend. Barely even had a drop of alcohol. And I drove there. Had some fun. Was there for a few hours and then headed home. Nothing that exciting. But it was always interesting to see how people are on the town compared to what they are, let's say, at school. But what I realized even back then was that some places are interesting until a certain hour, because when people have too much to drink, I don't really enjoy your company. At least if you're loud, violent, annoying, or some other form of that, or variation of those. Because I don't like that much stress, and one thing I learned rather quickly is that if someone tried to push me, if it's physically or emotionally, either I push way back, or I just leave the place without saying a single word. Because that's how some of my actions are. And that's very interesting, but also very annoying. Because if I had enough, if I'm very angry, well, it's a sea of rage coming straight towards someone. On the other hand, if you just annoy me and I realize that this is just basically being a troll, well, I'll just shut up, look at you very strictly, and leave without saying a single word to anyone. That's very interesting. But then again, silent obliteration. That was a Sly reference if you didn't know. Anyway, that was the first month of 2013, and on the beginning of next term, which is after the summer break, I started to have some feelings for another one. That was 1 year below me. And it's still 18 and 17, and it still works. No problem there. But just one problem. And that was that, well, when you go out of your way to help someone, like I do, because that's something that a lot of people usually do if they had a traumatic childhood of sorts or being bullied. They try to make a friend and try to do whatever they can to help that person. That was me. And also, if you add having a crush on that person at the same time, that's not going too well. That's going to go terribly wrong. Especially when you find out that they have zero feelings for you. In that case, good luck. And brace yourself, basically. And so, the end of that year, that was still developing, started to get politically interested. I don't think I have a funny story about that year, and I'm sorry about that, because, well, my life is basically a big story, and I'm trying to tell that. But I got a bit more, I'd say it, the more I connected with other people and joined different groups of people, like politically and other subcultural company, I realized that, okay, this is how I need to function in that, and that group. Problem, when you either take too long or change way too fast between groups, and it's not like, okay, I know how every single of these dynamics work, I can easily change. No, my problem is I have to go way out, near break, and then go in again with another different mindset. Because at that point, I still hadn't learned that when you have some conditions, at that point I didn't even know I had Asperger and was on the autism spectrum, which was very annoying because I could have had help, but no need to dwell over the past. That when you're using that method, going out, aim, and in again, that's very inefficient. And you don't always need to do that. It's actually very few times you need to do that. Except if you're seeing someone from high school with a completely different vocabulary and social economically. And now, that could be very interesting to see, but it often crashes. What I've experienced is that I mostly didn't change that much from when I was 17 to now, or 18 at the very least. I've changed a lot, probably, but how I think and feel are probably not that different, but how I basically utilize that energy and how my emotions develops have changed. Also, my psyche has changed a bit, because it has, before it was basically up, and sure, I had some down days, but I didn't have that many as I do now. That's just very annoying. I tend to watch out for stress. I watch out because who knew that you needed food to work? Oh, I know. Everyone knows that. Well, I tend to forget to eat, and I don't like that. Not by choice, of course, just whoops, I forgot. And that has basically changed. And more of the story is, for a bit of backtracking again, because I tend to go way off topic, as you might know by now. I used to go out a lot, still do, just because social hermit, and that was how I learned how to function in some case or form. Bring a notepad to a nightclub and write down everything how people do, say, and react to. how I try to learn how to be, well, a human. But then again, that didn't work out, as you may see. Anyway, that's it for me today. My name is Oscar the Gamer. This has been Story of My Life, Part 3. And I'll see you all in the next video. Good night!